Hi friends, I have another craft for you today. Today we are going to make this cute shamrock frame for St. Patrick's Day. Won't that be nice to have in our decorations? It's simple but fun. You can change it up, you can make it yours. We're going to make one that looks similar to this. And let's get started. Alright, so the first thing we need is a canvas and a shamrock. So depending on how big your shamrock is, depends on what size you probably want your canvas to be. And it's going to be inside like this. So this is a 5x7. I got both of these at the Dollar Tree, but if you have a bigger shamrock, it doesn't have to be this one. This one's pressboard. It came in a pack of like 6, and some were rainbow and some were striped like this. But those ones that are foam and shimmery, you can do that. Or if you don't like the shimmery, you can paint the other side. You can do all kinds of things. So we're going to start with this one. And so I want to cut the canvas. I want to cut the canvas off of the wood frame. So I have a little case cutter, and I'm just going to cut down. So if you don't have a case cutter, you could be careful with a knife, or an X-Acto knife would work. This is the back, so I don't care that I'm cutting into this wood frame. It doesn't matter to me. Just cut this off just like this and just peel it off. So we're going to peel off the canvas, and we're going to cut that to a smaller size. So just going to pull this off. Don't think I cut that all the way through. There we go. See. There we go. Now then, I'm not going to worry about the staples that are on the back. We'll use this in a minute. I'm just going to leave the staples in there. It doesn't matter because we're going to cover that up. You could take off this extra piece of canvas if you want to, or leave it on there. I think I'll just pull it off real quick. We're covering it all up. Put that on its side. So it's okay. We're gonna need some paint and paint brushes, and we're gonna need some cardboard. So that can be anything. That can be the back of a cereal box. I have a little scrap piece of cardboard. I don't even know what that was. So, but I have green, and this is acrylic paint, whatever color green you want. And then this is chalk paint, and this one happens to be sheepskin, but it's just what I happen to have. So I am just going to paint real quick the frame. I have a sponge for this, and I am going to paint all 3 sides, just not the back. So I like distress, so I'm going to distress it with the white. So it dries really fast. We should be able to do this whole craft in this video, I think, without having to leave some of it to your imagination. But you've seen the final product, so that's what we're aiming for. So I'm only going to use 1 coat of paint because I like the distress, the farmhouse feel. And so you can see part of the wood grain through this. That doesn't bother me at all. In fact, I like it a lot. So if that's not your thing, just put 2 coats on. Then it'll cover it right up. If you do 2 coats, just make sure it dries in between coats, and you can always use your hair dryer or a heat gun if you got one to make it dry faster, because I always do that. I even love the technique of putting the paint on and then rubbing off the excess. I love that. It makes it look more like a stain than a paint. Works great with like browns, but it would also work with this green. I will do that if it doesn't dry fast enough for my liking. So it doesn't take much. You see how tiny of a bottle of paint I have. But this can be any color, and you can use this technique. You can use this craft idea for any kind of holiday or whatever you happen to have at home. Because it's just so cute. You could put real pictures in there. This can be a neat way to frame your family photo or a snapshot. Possibilities are endless. All right, so we're gonna let that dry. And here's my Shamrock. While we're painting, I want to distress a little bit on top of this Shamrock. It's a little shiny. I'm gonna kind of make it match my frame. So I have a bristle brush, and I'm going to dry paint my Shamrock. So I just put a little bit on my plate, and then I'm patting it to get some of it off, and then I'm going to dry brush it. I'm going to do the edges, and then I'm going to do the center. So there's like not a whole lot of paint on my brush. I'm going to go around the edges, and then I'm going to empty my brush up in the center. Isn't that cute? I love that. All right, we're going to let that dry. That won't take long. And we're letting the green dry for a minute. Let's prep our canvas. So we're going to put this to the side. I'm going to come back to our canvas. This is what we pulled off of the frame, and see where the crease is. That's what we're gonna go by. That's our pattern. So I'm just gonna cut the extras off. Got a pair of scissors, and I'm just gonna cut this extra off right where that seam is. It's my line. Doesn't have to be perfect, because this is gonna go on the back of the frame. So just trim this off. Right where that seam is. One more edge. Just like this. See, it's not perfect, but it doesn't need to be. Then I'm taking my scrap piece of cardboard. I'm gonna lay this on there. I'm gonna glue it on there and then trim it off. And then we will trim it to the size it needs to be on the back of this frame. So if I take this frame up, I put it on the side that's not green. It fits there pretty good. It's a little big, which is fine. We're gonna trim it off when we put it on this cardboard. So we need some glue. I'm using a glue gun. You don't have to, but that's gonna work for me. So you wanna just put some glue on your cardboard and glue it down. Now I'm gonna go just like this. I'm gonna smooth this out a little bit so I don't have lumps. And put my there we go. Put my canvas on there, rubbing it, making sure I don't have lumps. You know what else you can do? You could just do the edges. I just had this scrap, so I decided to smooth it out. But you can use any kind of glue. I don't know if glue stick will work, but it probably will. Just do a little bit at a time and press it on really good. There we are. So I'm just going to cut it out. And then we will see what size we need for the back of this frame. It's going to fit on the back just like this. And we're going to glue it on the edges. So let's see, am I dry? I'll pat this off. Just make sure I'm nice and dry. Always need to have extra paper towels around. Not much, look, just a little bit of green on there. Let's see, do I fit well? I'm going to trim the top off just a smidge because it's peeking through. So let's sure this up a little bit. And then see how it fits. Set it on top. Make sure we don't spill out any. Yeah, that looks great. See? All right, so the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna dry brush this because that's the style I want. So I'm bringing my paint back. I still have my dry brush here and paint on my paper plate, and I am just going to dry brush just like this. So again, I put the paintbrush in the paint and then I'm trying to get some of that off. And then you can add as much as you want on here or as little as you want, or none at all. Yeah. I like the edges kind of thick myself. I think it's pretty. See? It dries super fast because there's not much on there. I'm doing all three sides, not the back, but the inside of my frame. Did I get all three sides? Yes, and then the outside. Awesome. Set that down. All right, so we're finished with the paint. We've got everything set. So the frame has been painted a base coat, and I put dry brush some of this sheepskin white on it. So it's prepared. I took my Shamrock and I dry brushed it. I just prepared it. So you can change the color. You can, with paint, you can leave it as is. I want it to raise up a little bit. It's off of the canvas a little bit, so it's not just a flat piece. If I was using one of those styrofoam Shamrocks, I would probably raise it a little bit off of my canvas. And to do that, you could take some craft sticks, break them up, and glue them on the back to raise it up. They make this foam tape. You could use foam tape to raise it up just a little bit. Something to give it like a 3-dimension look instead of just flat up against the canvas. This isn't a painting that we're working with today, so I wanted to get a little more definition and a little more 3D effect. So this one that I bought happens to already be 3D, so I'm not going to raise it up. But if yours is flat, you might want to raise it with some sort of, craft stick or that tape I was talking about. Something. I got a little bit of this canvas peeking through. I want to get that off. Got a little bit on here. So I'm just trimming it off. If I had pliers, I could probably just pull it out from underneath this staple. I just want to make sure that does not show through. These little strings. So trimming that off. And now it's time to tape on our canvas. So here's a canvas. When I glued it onto the cardboard, I glued the wrong side, right? You understand that? On a canvas, there's the textured side and then the smooth side on the back. The smooth side is what I glued onto the cardboard, and now I am going to glue on my backing. So I'm just gonna put a little strip of glue all the way around, and you know how fast hot glue sets up. So we need to hurry that along, and then we just plop it on top. Make sure that it sets on there and not showing through on the other side. Of course, if you put it on and it's accidentally not exactly straight, no problem, just cut the excess off. Ta-da! We're shaping up, aren't we? That looks really good. So before I add the shamrock, which will be last, I'm going to use some jute twine. And I'm going to make mine go up and down like this, vertical, not horizontal. And I'm going to wrap it around like 2 or 3 times. So I'm going to glue it on the back. Put a little bit of glue here. And lay my twine on top. Let it sit up for a second. Then I'm just going to wrap around. 1, 2, 3. Just like this. Ooh, I got a string. I love that. All right, then I'm just going to glue it on the back and cut my edge off. I'm going to use my scissors, hold it down there, make sure I got a nice good connection, but don't burn my fingers. Snip off the edge and do it again. So that's going to be the top because I like this sprig. You can cut it off if you want. But we're going to do the same thing on this side. So just add a little bit of glue. Lay my jute twine on top of it for a second and let it hold. Use my scissors. All right, wrap it around. I think I did 3 last time. 1, 2, 3. What's this look like? Ooh! Now I don't know which one's gonna be the top. Oh, I like that. But I really like the twig on the back, on the top, so I'm gonna redo it again so I can make this one my bottom. Yep, I like it. All right, I'm gonna add some glue. Lay the twine on the glue. Use my scissors to hold it a second so I don't burn my fingers. Snip off the edge. And there it is. Oh man, that looks good. All right, now I need to add my shamrock. My glue's coming off my edge right here. Better add some more. If in doubt, glue it again. Let's put that on there. Hold this down, I may have rushed. There we go. All right, we're finished with that. Make sure I'm solid up here. And this was my top. So now I'm gonna put my shamrock on. Same thing, just put some glue on it. So you can place it first, get an idea of where you want it to go. Since I've done one of the same size, I know where I want it to go. Place it down, hold it a second. And we're finished. Isn't that cute? If you want to hang it up, just add a hanger with your jute twine. Make a little loop, glue it on the back, and you can hang it up. I'm going to put it on my mantle, so I do not need a hanger. Isn't that awesome? They turned out so good. This one has a little more distress, dry brushing. This one has a little less. Ooh, I can't decide which one I like best. But they're both super cute. I hope you had a good time. I hope it got you thinking and see how you can be creative. And that's it for today. We'll see you next time. Bye.